students, hope you all are fit and fine as we have completed chapter number 2, right, a gift of chapels. Right now our next chapter is Gopal and the Hilsa fish. It's a very funny and interesting chapter, right? Let's do. Here it was the season for Hilsa fish. The fishermen caught a lot of them. As it was a season of Hilsa fish, it's a kind of fish, and fishermen, and it was season, they caught lots of fish. They sold them in the market. The prices, they said, were down, and it was a season of Hilsa, and fishermen caught many fish, and they sold it in the market, but they get the very low price. This news was discussed by all householders. They were amazed that the fish came to such a low price. And all this, the news was discussed by all householders. Now this news that the price of Hilsa has low down, right, and fishermen get the low price, is discussed everywhere in houses, right? All householders discussed this. And they were amazed why this price of Hilsa has gone down. Why the price of Hilsa is such a low. In the palace also, the courtiers discussed the matter. A courtier showed the king a big fish he had caught. Now, in the palace also, courtiers were discussing the same, that price of Hilsa is low down. And one of the all the courtiers also discussed this matter, right, about the Hilsa, that the price of Hilsa is very low. So one courtier, and he caught the big Hilsa, right, he showed that Hilsa fish to the king. Now, what happened? The king lost his temper because everyone in the courtiers were talking about Hilsa fish. Everyone, every time they were talking about Hilsa fish. And as this discussion was going on, one of the courtier, he showed one big fish to king. That was caught by him. So the king lost his temper. The courtier became silent and said, the king realized his mistake. As king was very angry, he lost his temper. So what happened? That courtier, he became silent and sad. He didn't speak a single word. He became very sad. Now the king realized his mistake, right? He told that even Gopal couldn't stop anyone from talking about Hilsa. Now, as the king realized his mistake, that he should not scold the courtier. So what he said, that even Gopal couldn't. Gopal is one man. He is very funny type man. So Gopal couldn't stop anyone talk about Hilsa. Gopal protested. He said he could do that. Now Gopal, he protested. He told to king that he can do, right? And he can do that. The king challenged him to bring a big fish to the palace without anyone asking him. As Gopal protested that he can do, so king challenged him that he has to bring one Hilsa to the king, to the palace, and no one should ask him about the fish. Now what happened? Now it's a very interesting point is there, and you will enjoy, students. Since Gopal accepted the challenge, he started working accordingly. As the challenge was by the king, obviously Gopal has to accept it. He accepted and he started working accordingly, right? He became half shaven and covered himself with it. What what Gopal has done, he shaved half side, right? And what he had done, he covered himself with ash. When his wife asked him the reason about his peculiar look, he said that he was dressing up to buy a Hilsa fish. As Gopal was half shaven and covered himself with ash, obviously his wife asked him, "What are you doing? Why are you in this peculiar dress?" So what Gopal said, that he is going to buy a Hilsa. His wife thought that he had gone mad. And what his wife thought, that Gopal has gone mad. Gopal bought the Hilsa and started walking towards the palace. And Gopal bought one Hilsa, right? And he was walking towards the palace. A child cried that man was comical. And as he was walking on the road, you know that he was half shaven, right? And he covered himself with ash. So what one child said to his mother, "See, that man is a comical." Another called him a madman. Some another person thought that Gopal is a madman. The third mistook him for a mystic, and the third person thought that he is a strange person. But no one talked about the Hilsa. Means one boy cried that he is a comical man. Second person thought that he is a mad, and third one said that he is a strange person. But no one on the way to the palace, no one talked about Hilsa. Gopal reached the court. He told the guards that he wanted to see the king. And finally Gopal reached the palace. Right near the door, near the palace gate, he told to the guards that I want to meet the king. Now they didn't allow him to enter. Now the guards didn't allow Gopal to enter into the palace, right? So what Gopal did? Gopal did some strange thing, right? Some funny like thing. Gopal began dancing and crying loudly. As the guards didn't allow him to get into the palace, what Gopal did, he started dancing and crying. Right? He started dancing and crying loudly. They reported the matter to the king, and the guards reported about Gopal to the king. The king ordered to bring him to the court. Guard also didn't come to know that that person is Gopal. So they complained to the king, right, about his what funny thing he was doing. So now king ordered to bring that man into the palace. Gopal introduced himself before the king. The king asked him why he was dressed up in that fashion. And as Gopal entered into the court, he introduced himself to the king. And the king asked him why you are in this peculiar dress. Gopal explained that when he was coming to the palace, not a single man spoke about Hilsa fish. Now Gopal told king that as he was coming towards the palace, no one talked, no one said a single word about Hilsa fish. Everyone got attracted towards the peculiar look, and everyone on the road, they were attracted by the peculiar look of Gopal. They didn't mind the fish. They didn't say a single word about a fish, right? And you know that Gopal had one big Hilsa fish also in his hand, right? But not a single person talked about Hilsa, right? The king remembered the challenge he had thrown to Gopal. Now, king remembered that he had thrown a challenge to Gopal, right? He congratulated Gopal on his achieving the impossible. And the king congratulated Gopal for the goal he has achieved. Right? All the chapter, in this chapter, the characters are Gopal, his wife, right? Many people are there, and guards, and the most important is Hilsa fish. See, actually it was the season of Hilsa fish, and the fishermen, they caught many fishes and they sold it in the market, but they got very low price of Hilsa fish. Now everyone in the village or even in the court of king, everyone is talking about Hilsa fish. No other talk is there. A full day talking about Hilsa fish. So one day what happened? One courtier, he had bought one big Hilsa and he showed to the king. Now king was very angry. He scolded the courtier. Why you people are every time talking about Hilsa? There is no other talk, right? So now that person, he became silent and sad. So the king realized his mistake, that he should not scold the courtier. So then what king said? King said that even Gopal couldn't stop everyone to talk about Hilsa. Gopal is one man, right? So king said, it means he was a funny looking man, right? Funny type man. So king said that Gopal also couldn't stop everyone to talk about Hilsa. Now at that time Gopal protested that he can stop everyone for not talking about Hilsa. So king has thrown challenge on Gopal that he has to do that no one will talk about Hilsa fish. Now what Gopal has done? He was half shaven, right? He shaved his half side only and covered himself with ash. He covered himself with ash, and his wife asked him, why are you looking so funny? Why are you dressed up like this? So Gopal said that he is going to buy the Hilsa. And then Gopal purchased one big Hilsa and he was walking towards the palace. One boy on the road cried that he is a magical man. Some other person said that he is a madman. And the third one said he is a mystic, he is a strange person. But no one on the road talked about Hilsa. They didn't speak a single word about Hilsa, right? And then near the gates of the palace, Gopal tried to enter the gate. The guards stopped him. They didn't allow Gopal to get into the palace, right? So what Gopal did, he started dancing and crying loudly. So the guards informed king, right? And king told to bring him into the court. And as Gopal entered into the court, king asked him, why are you dressed up in this? King was unable to recognize Gopal, right? Even guards were also unable to recognize Gopal. So king asked, why are you in such a dress? What are you doing? Who are you? Then Gopal started laughing and he told the king about the challenge he thrown on him. Right away, no one asked him about Hilsa, but they were talking about his peculiar look. Now, king come to know about his challenge, right? So he congratulated Gopal for the task.
આભાર.